Hey artists, for this final step in the printmaking project, you're going to need a few supplies before you actually get going with the ink. So you're going to need 3 or more pieces of just this cardstock paper. It's 8.5 by 11 size, a nice sharp light pencil, and then a little later on a piece of plexiglass. You'll need a brayer, you'll need a baren or press, and you're going to need an ink color of your choice, okay? So once you've completely finished carving up your lino, you're going to take it, make sure it's clean, and there's no pencil marks or Sharpie that could transfer to your clean paper. You're going to put it face down, and what we're looking for is even borders across the top 3 edges and a bit of extra room at the bottom. So like this example here. The reason that we do this is that in printmaking, when we sign or when we edition all of our prints, that's done in pencil. And if this is a print of mine, I'm gonna say this is the first of 3. So in this corner, you're gonna put an edition number. Here, you would write the title. Just carefully print it, whatever that title may be. And over here, you can put your initials or print your name, or you can sign it. Okay? And you're gonna repeat that on all of your prints. The only change that happens is right here at the top number. The next print would be 2 of 3, 3 of 3, and so on. Okay, so to leave some room to edition the prints, that's also something that we want. So when you have it lined up like this, whoop, nice and straight, you are welcome to use a ruler if you'd like it to be really precise. Face down once again, and the right way up in terms of your image, right? The flower is facing up this way. I'm just gonna make little marks in all 4 corners, or at the very least in the top 2 corners, okay? I'm gonna keep doing that with all my other sheets of paper, and then I'm ready to get printing. So with one paper out on the desk, I'm gonna want to maybe put an apron on, push up my sleeves, have this press handy, and then my ink and my brayer are the things that I'm gonna need. Now, we wanna keep these brayers nice and round, so once you've rolled your ink here and rolled it onto your lino, you're gonna wanna leave it face up, okay? And the reason for doing that is to not let it sit. If you let it sit this way, you're gonna get a lot of pressure and stickiness, and it just starts to distort and warp the roundness of this roller here, okay? This guy is fine just as it is. And the other thing is, once you get your ink out, you're gonna wanna really make sure you're not taking too much. It's sort of like the toothpaste tube at home. That is a fair amount. That will for sure give me 1 or maybe 2 prints at the size we're working at here. Okay, so it's like this, all set to go. And you're gonna keep your white paper with these registration marks clean in a pile off to one side. And in its place, you might wanna put down some newsprint or some other scrap paper where it doesn't matter if the ink rolls onto it. And that's where your lino is gonna go. So taking the ruler, the idea is we're gonna spread the ink out here, making sure it's even. Once it looks even on the ruler, we add it to the print, sometimes in a couple of directions. And it's kind of a funny thing, like I'm not too worried about what things look like here. I'm actually just trying to make sure the ink is going all the way across the ruler, and that it's not too much or too little. So it's actually feeling like a fair bit right now. What you want to listen for is this sort of sticky, tacky sound, if that makes any sense. You can sometimes see the ripples or wrinkles in the ink. So I don't know if you could hear that sound, sort of a sound. That is what you want. And then you're gonna wanna roll, you can come back and forth. Keep the ink fresh. You want to work fairly quickly here to not let it dry out on you, but I'm just dispersing the ink all across the areas I've carved. And just for insurance, I'm going to go the other way, one quick pass. Okay, so this is ready to be out of my way for the moment. Okay, roller facing up, ink, I've still got lots to keep going on the next print or 2 or 3. Now I've got my paper that's ready to go. Clean hands. You don't want any fingerprints here if you can help it at all. And you're going to want to take your lino carefully by the edges. I like to try to grab wherever I know that there isn't much ink. Flip it around. And we've made those marks in advance, which help us to know that we're placing it straight and we're placing it in the correct alignment. Okay, finally, this is really tricky to get enough pressure through your linoleum to the paper. The paper is thinner than this, so I do my patented pancake flip. Now our lino is placed, it's under the paper, and we can use the brayer, the Baron, to really press down. Really giving it a lot of muscle, a lot of force, downward motion, and working kind of into all 4 corners. If the back of your paper is getting all sort of scuffed up like mine is, I don't want you to worry about that. Just try not to have anything move or shift on you. You'll get the hang of this as it goes. Okay? Once I feel like I've pressed hard enough, you can sort of just tell, looking closely and by feel. Now I'm going to carefully peel the paper away from my lino, and I have my first print. Ta-da! The idea now is to keep on repeating. So you might want to work in a new area of paper, right? New piece of newsprint. You're going to keep using up this ink. Don't waste it. And if a friend from class is wanting to use that same color, you can kind of trade off using this same roller and plexiglass and just alternate the way that you're making your prints. So it's a really satisfying process. It's really straightforward and easy. It's like a big old beautiful stamp. Have fun finishing your printmaking.